involved in business would. Why did none of the regulators do that? Where was Gary Gensler?
Well, I don't know where Gary Gensler was, but my regulator at the CFTC, I asked them, why in the world are you invoking the Commodity Exchange Act, Section 5, Paragraph B, which says the commission will entertain innovation? It also says in that same part of the act that you will protect market under surveillance and everything else to protect the consumers that are using those markets. They were using that. I want to know, was there pressure put on the agency from politicians or not? And there's hearings coming up. I hope someone has the courage to take on the commissioner of the CFTC and others and ask them why they were trying to put a round hole in a square peg. They should have dismissed his proposal out of hand. Instead, I was forced to go into Congress, get berated by people that don't know what they're talking about, and I told them what could potentially happen. And again, it did happen.
Amazing. The fundamentals of his company, as someone involved in business would. Why did none of the regulators do that? Where was Gary Gensler?
Well, I don't know where Gary Gensler was, but my regulator at the CFTC,
Let's get your reaction to just the flood of news that we've gotten out of FTX, both from the company's new CEO, of course, who oversaw the upending of the bankruptcy for Enron, who believes that Sam Bankman-Fried treated this company like a personal fiefdom. And then on the other end, I want to talk about the regulatory aspect and what you think the future may hold. But first, as we've seen even memos coming out from Sam Bankman-Fried himself, what do you think?
Yeah, it's shocking to me in some ways. You know, I had some young kids break into my apartment 4 years ago. They stole a couple laptops. And within 3 days, the NYPD had arrested them and they were in jail. I had Sam Bankman-Fried, who maybe I'm not a judge or a lawyer, but I read my contract, certainly did things with our coins that were illegal. And he's running around the Bahamas, giving press conferences, going on TV. You know, that whole thing kind of surprises me. I think his day will come. I'm shocked that his father, who's supposed to be a lawyer, is letting him talk, or that anyone's actually listening to him. Right? Liars lie and will continue to lie. And so
when you say that he did things with coins that he was not allowed to do, what are you specifically referring to? Because you had money on his exchange.
If you read your contract, when you deposit your crypto or your dollars on his exchange, you know, they're your coins. You've got title to them, and lending them to his family office was not part of the deal. And so, you know, nobody who participated in that exchange signed a contract that Sam could take your coins and run a hedge fund with them. And so, you know, that's fraud. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so my lawyers will probably yell at me.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we have Terry Duffy now on CNBC, getting into the limelight also. He's the one that said Sam Bankman-Fried is a fraud. But then he also slips up and says he bribes the people at the CFTC. Guys, the movie can't get any better. And then we have Mike Novogratz said, why is Sam Bankman-Fried walking around? He committed fraud. And then walked back on and said, oh, my attorney may get upset with me if I say that. And guys, we know that Sam Bankman-Fried is working for the banksters. The MIT genius came up with a platform to put derivatives on blockchain. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Steve Leisman on CNBC, says that somebody needs to tell the CEOs that we're about to have a recession. Guys, we know we're going to have a great depression. The Fed is going to destroy this legacy market. We see all the central banks moving in lockstep. America to Babylon is going to fall along with the U.S. reserve currency. And we're going to see the rise of China and the emerging markets with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the Crypto Teacher wrote about it a long time ago because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
On this data. Steve?
Somebody needs to tell the CEOs of this country that we're about to have a recession because apparently they haven't gotten the news. This number here, Rick, by the way, made a fabulous misstatement because he really emphasized the right number. And the right number is, and I just want to make sure I get this right too, which is this idea of what the shipments are for non-defense aircraft. And that number, the 07 is the new orders. The 13 is the shipments, and that's what folds into GDP. So that's going to help. Again, obviously there's some inflation in this, but I don't think inflation explains it at all. You have this very strange phenomenon. I think the story is you have these two very different stories going on in the economy. On the one hand, you have this, call it a cyclical slowing, but maybe call it a secular backlog, Andrew, where there's pent-up demand for equipment spending in this country. Also, by the way, when you have inflation, you do have a premium or a need for some companies to step forward and try to automate some systems and save some money that way. But everybody was expecting this thing to be okay now, not this strong, and slow into the future, and that may be what happens. But right now, the idea that you have this slowing economy that is motivated by actions in the C-suite, it's just not happening in this number. Plus, you have backlogs on airplanes and backlogs on cars. What we are watching there, and might be some seasonal part, is again softening in the labor market, which is really worth watching. This idea that up we're near 240, that gets my attention. 220 did not. 240 suggests maybe some softening in the labor market, which, as you suggest, is the softening the Fed is looking for, with a hope that it doesn't get too soft.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.